Today we're going to learn section 7.4. I'm going to go over some theorems and we're going to talk about how to apply some properties of similar triangles. First is our theorem, triangle proportionality theorem, and it says if a line parallel to a side of a triangle intersects the other two sides, then it divides the sides proportionally. Now, you'll see what I mean in my picture. I have EF parallel to BC. And what that then says is that AE is to EB as AF is to FC. Please pause this and write this down. Next, we are going to try to apply this theorem. So, I want to find RV. So I'm going to call RV X, and I'm going to set up a proportion. 14 is to 10 as X is to 4, and it's all about following the pattern. Left is to right as left is to right, and then we're going to solve this. We'll get 10x is equal to 56 and divide both sides by 10, and we find that that is equal to 5.8. Next, I'm going to set up some proportions here using the same theorem. If you look over here, I have AC, that's this whole segment right here, is to BC as AF is to GF. So I'm going to move this on over. And again, it's all about following the pattern. Notice, AC is my whole segment, BC is the top part, and I'm then comparing that to AF, which is the whole segment. So then therefore I'm going to then need GF, which is the top portion of that segment. Take a look at the next one, and you'll see that I'm comparing AB right here to BG, and then that's supposed to be equal to AD, and then my answer would be DE. I'm going to drag that right over here. I want you to try the next three on your own. Pause the video and then you'll see the answers. And here are the answers. If you had trouble with it, click pause and go back and check your work. If you're still having trouble, we will talk about it in class tomorrow, or rather when I return. Next, we have another theorem. It's the converse of the triangle proportionality theorem. And it says if a line divides two sides of a triangle proportionally, then it is parallel to the third side. So here's a picture that displays the if part of that. And the conclusion then is that the lines must be parallel. So we're just going in the reverse order of what we did with the triangle proportionality theorem, which of course is what converse means. So pause and write this down. So now I want to see if these lines are parallel based upon that theorem. So I'm going to be looking at BC and DE. So I'm going to compare. Is 8 over 4 equal to 4 over 4? That is the question. So I'm going to write that down so you can see it a little bit better. And compare 8 to 4 with 4 over 4. And I'm asking myself, are those two quantities equal? Which of course they are not. 8 over 4 is 2, 4 over 1 is 4. Not equal, not parallel. Now I'm going to look at DE and FG. Here is DE and here is FG. And then I am going to take 12 and divide it by 3 and compare that to 8 divided by 2. And if those two quantities are equal, then the lines are parallel. So let's do that. 12 over 3, and I'm asking myself, is that equal to 8 over 2? Well, let's simplify that, shall we? That is 4, and so is this. So they are parallel. Here is another theorem. It's called the two transversal proportionality theorem. It's actually a corollary. It says if three or more parallel lines intersect two transversals, then they divide the transversals proportionally. So here's a picture of that. And notice that I have two transversals. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more other lines. And my conclusion would then be then AC to CE must be equal to BD to DF. And again, it's all about following a pattern. So let's take a look at this picture in this example. AB is 8, BC is 20. I'm going to write that in. ED is 15. And I want to find FE. And we're going to use that theorem. And again, we're going to look. Top is to bottom is top is to bottom. And we'll set up the proportion just that way. 8 over x is equal to 20 over 15. And it doesn't say this, and it really should. All these lines are parallel. Otherwise, I, of course, could not do this. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I'll get 20x is equal to 8 times 15, 120, and then 20x, and I'm going to have to divide both sides then by 20, and I get 6. Next, why don't you give this a try and put the video on pause, and then I will show you the answer when we return. If you had problems, go back and check your work. If you still had problems, we will talk about it when I return. Here we have another theorem. It says an angle bisector of a triangle divides the opposite side into two segments whose lengths are proportional to the lengths of the other two sides. Wow, that's really wordy. Let's see if we can take a look at a picture. It says that I have an angle bisector. My angle bisector is AD. Remember, an angle bisector cuts an angle in half. And if that is the case, then we know that BD to DC is equal to AB to AC. And it's just dividing that opposite side proportionally. Please pause and write that down. So let's look at an example. I have an angle bisector here, it's AD, and we are told that AB is equal to 12, BD is equal to 7, and AC is 24, and I'm looking for DC. So using the theorem, I'm going to set up a proportion. 7 is to x as 12 is to 24. And now it's just a matter of solving. So now we will cross multiply, and we get 12x is equal to 168. And then we'll divide both sides by 12. And then x is equal to 14. Now, why don't you guys give this a try, and then I will pause it, and I will show you the answers when you return. Here's the answer. If you had trouble at all, please go back and check your work. If you still are having trouble, we will again talk about it when I return. Here's another problem that's similar to the last one, except now that sides don't just have single variables, they have expressions, and we are going to do this one together. So using our theorem, x minus 2 is to x plus 5 as 32 is to 40. And now we will cross multiply and get 40x minus 80 is equal to 32x plus 160. Now I'm going to subtract 32x from both sides. And I get 8x minus 80 is equal to 160. So we'll add 80 to both sides. And that gives me 8x is equal to 240. And then divide both sides by 8. X then must be 30. Now, it did not ask me to find x. It asked me to find PS. So notice that PS is x minus 2. So PS must be 30 minus 2, or 28. It also asked me to find SR. SR is x plus 5, and this must be 30 plus 5, or 35. Now, bring your books to class tomorrow, and anything you don't understand, we will definitely go through. Have a nice night.